The stars had never seemed so close, yet so far away. Hyunwoo Kim floated in the observation deck of the orbital station, watching the alien ships hover in the darkness of space. Their designs were strange and beautiful, nothing like the blocky human vessels that had brought him here. After 200 years of searching, humanity had finally found proof they were not alone in the universe. The Galactic Assembly had found Earth first. The message had arrived 3 months ago, a simple transmission in mathematical language, translated by Earth's best minds. It spoke of peace, of knowledge, of joining a community that spanned thousands of star systems. Hyunwoo had been chosen to represent humanity in these first meetings. He was Earth's chief diplomat, a man who had spent his life preparing for conflicts between nations. He never imagined he would negotiate with beings from other worlds. The aliens had refused to come down to Earth. They insisted all meetings happen in orbit on their station. Hyunwoo found it strange, but he accepted. Perhaps they feared human diseases, or maybe they simply preferred the comfort of space. He had learned not to assume anything when dealing with different cultures. Ji-won Park drifted beside him, her military uniform somehow still crisp despite the zero gravity. She was a colonel in Earth Defense Forces, brought along to assess any potential threats. Her dark eyes never stopped moving, always watching, always calculating. She did not trust the aliens yet. Hyunwoo could not blame her. "They are ready for us," Dae-sung Lee said, pushing himself through the doorway. The scientist looked uncomfortable in his magnetic boots, still adjusting to life in space. He carried a tablet filled with data about alien biology, what little they had been allowed to scan. "The Ambassador Thelvorn wishes to begin formal introductions." Hyunwoo nodded and activated his own boots, feeling the gentle pull as magnets connected him to the floor. Walking in boots was easier than floating, but it still felt unnatural. He wondered if he would ever get used to it. The meeting chamber was impressive. Walls of transparent material showed the Earth below, a blue and white marble suspended in the void. Around a circular table floated 5 aliens, each one different from the others. Hyunwoo tried not to stare, but it was impossible not to notice how graceful they moved in zero gravity. They belonged here in a way humans did not. Ambassador Thelvorn was the first to speak. Its body resembled a large bird with feathers that shimmered like oil on water. When it moved, it was like watching water flow. Smooth, effortless, perfect. "Humans of Earth." Thelvorn's voice came through a translation device that hung in the air. "We welcome you to the Galactic Assembly. It is rare to find new species, especially one so young." The way Thelvorn said young made Hyunwoo uncomfortable. It sounded like an adult talking to a child. "We are honored to meet you," Hyunwoo replied, keeping his voice steady. "Humanity has long dreamed of this moment." Another alien leaned forward. This one looked like an insect with multiple arms and eyes that never blinked. "High Commander Rixton of the Krylox Empire." Ji-won had warned Hyunwoo about this one. The Krylox controlled 17 star systems and had a reputation for aggressive expansion. "Your species is interesting," Rixton said. The translator made its voice sound harsh and clicking. "We have studied your broadcasts, your history. You come from a heavy world, yes? High gravity? Earth's gravity is standard for us," Hyunwoo answered carefully. "1G, we call it." Several aliens made sounds that the translator interpreted as surprise or disbelief. Thelvorn's feathers ruffled. "One of your Gs?" Thelvorn repeated. "That is significant. Most civilized worlds maintain 0.4 to 0.6 standard units. My own homeworld is 0.3. Anything higher is considered a death world." Hyunwoo glanced at Dae-sung, who looked equally confused. "I do not understand. Humans evolved on Earth. 1G is normal for us." Yes, Rixton waved one of its many hands dismissively. "Heavy worlders. We have encountered a few species like yours before. Strong bodies but slow minds. Too much energy spent just standing upright. It limits development." Ji-won's jaw tightened. Hyunwoo could see she wanted to say something, but she remained silent. This was his arena, not hers. "I assure you, human intelligence is quite adequate," Hyunwoo said politely, though he felt anger rising in his chest. Of course, Thelvorn said in a tone that suggested it believed otherwise. "We mean no offense. It is simply biological reality. Heavy worlders make excellent laborers. Your kind could be very useful to the assembly in mining operations, construction projects, things that require physical strength but little else." The other aliens around the table made agreeing sounds. They looked at the three humans the way someone might look at a strong pack animal, useful but not equal. Hyunwoo took a deep breath. He had dealt with arrogance before, with nations that thought themselves superior. The key was patience and proof. Perhaps there are misunderstandings between our species, he said carefully. Cultural exchange might help. We would be honored to host members of the assembly on Earth. Show you our world, our cities, our culture. Thelvorn's feathers flattened against its body. Visit your planet? The surface? Yes, of course. Where else would you see our civilization? The aliens exchanged glances. Rixton made a sound like grinding metal. Such a visit would be challenging. The gravity you describe it would be difficult for most species. We can provide support equipment, Dae-sung offered. Exoskeletons, gravity compensation devices. We have technology that could help. Unnecessary, Rixton said quickly. Too quickly. We simply meant that our time is valuable. However, a brief visit might be educational, to see how primitive species adapt to harsh environments. Hyunwoo smiled, though the insult stung. Excellent. We will arrange everything. I promise you will find Earth very educational indeed. After the meeting ended, the three humans returned to their shuttle. Ji-won waited until they were alone before speaking. They think we are stupid animals, she said, her voice tight with controlled anger. Yes, Hyunwoo agreed. They do. We should refuse their offer of membership, Ji-won continued. Their assembly is built on species hierarchy. They will never see us as equals. Dae-sung was studying his tablet, scrolling through the biological data they had collected during the meeting. His eyes were wide. Hyunwoo, the scientist said slowly, I think I understand why they will not visit Earth. They are afraid of germs? Ji-won guessed. No, they are afraid of gravity. Dae-sung turned the tablet so they could see. Look at their bone density, their muscle mass, their cardiovascular systems. These beings evolved in environments with less than half our gravity. Some even less. If they came to Earth without support, what would happen? Hyunwoo asked. Dae-sung met his eyes. Their own weight would crush them. The shuttle was silent as the implications sank in. The aliens had not refused to visit Earth because they thought it beneath them. They refused because they physically could not survive there, and they had spent the entire meeting insulting humans for adapting to an environment that would kill most galactic species within hours. Ji-won started to laugh. It was not a happy sound. They called us heavy worlders like it was an insult, she said. They have no idea what that actually means. Hyunwoo looked out the window at the alien station growing smaller behind them. Below, Earth waited, beautiful and deadly. Home. Let them come visit, he said quietly. Let them see exactly what kind of world produced humanity. Then we will discuss who is primitive and who is not. The return journey to Earth took 6 hours. Hyunwoo spent the time preparing. He had a feeling everything was about to change. The diplomatic shuttle hung in orbit above Earth, waiting. Inside, So-min Choi ran through her pre-flight checks for the 3rd time. She was one of Earth's best aerospace engineers, and today she had the strangest passengers she had ever transported. 5 aliens who had never felt real gravity in their entire lives. All systems green, So-min reported through her headset. We are ready for descent when the passengers board. Through the docking window, she watched the aliens approach. They moved through the connecting tunnel with that same flowing grace she had seen in videos from the first meeting. In zero gravity, they looked like they were dancing. She wondered how they would look when real weight pulled at their bodies. Hyunwoo floated beside her in the cockpit. Remember slow descent, gentle as possible. We want them alive when we reach the surface. You think they might not make it? So-min asked. Dae-sung ran simulations. At full Earth gravity, their bodies will weigh 2 to 3 times what they are used to. Imagine suddenly becoming 3 times heavier than you are now. Every step, every breath, every heartbeat working 3 times as hard. So-min glanced back as the airlock opened. Ambassador Thelvorn entered first, its feathers slightly ruffled. Behind it came Rixton and 3 other aliens she did not recognize. One looked like it was made of crystal, another resembled a floating jellyfish, and the third seemed to be mostly liquid held in a transparent membrane. Young-ho Nam was there to greet them. The xenobiologist smiled warmly and gestured to the seats that had been specially designed for alien physiology. Welcome aboard, Young-ho said. The journey will take approximately 2 hours. We will descend slowly to allow your bodies time to adjust. Adjust to what? the crystal alien asked. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. It is only gravity. We experience gravity every day. Of course, Young-Ho replied, not arguing. He had small medical sensors hidden in his hands, already taking readings as he helped each alien into their seats. His tablet was recording everything. So-Min began the descent sequence. The engines hummed to life and the shuttle began its controlled fall toward Earth. At first, nothing changed. They were still essentially in zero gravity, just moving in a different direction. Your planet is quite beautiful, Thelvorn admitted, looking out the window. Abundant water. Thick atmosphere. I can see why your species developed there despite the challenges. We consider ourselves fortunate, Hyunwoo said diplomatically. 15 minutes into the descent, So-Min increased the shuttle's rotation slightly. Centrifugal force created a gentle push, about 0.2 g, barely noticeable to a human. The aliens shifted in their seats. Is there a problem with your engines? Rixton asked. I feel unusual pressure. No problem, So-Min assured. We are beginning to enter Earth's gravity well. Just the natural pull of the planet. Already? The jellyfish alien's body rippled with what Young-Ho's translator interpreted as concern. But we are still so high up. So-Min checked her instruments and increased rotation again. 0.4 g now. Half of Earth normal. The aliens were definitely uncomfortable. Thelvorn's wings pressed tight against its body, the crystal being made creaking sounds. Rixtan's multiple arms gripped the seat with all its strength. Perhaps we could maintain this altitude, Thelvorn suggested. Its translator carried a slight edge of panic that had not been there before. See the planet from here. Very nice view. We are barely in the upper atmosphere, Hyunwoo explained. Earth's surface is still 100 kilometers below. Cities, culture, everything humanity built exists down there. Young-Ho was studying his tablet with growing concern. The alien vital signs were already showing stress. Elevated heart rates, rapid breathing, increased core temperatures, and they were only at 0.4 g. So-Min, Young-Ho said quietly, maybe we should consider a slower approach. But So-Min was watching her instruments carefully. If we go any slower, we will not have enough fuel for the return trip. This is already the gentlest descent profile possible. She increased rotation to 0.6 g. The effect was immediate. Thelvorn made a sound like a wounded bird, its feathers trembling. The liquid alien's membrane began to sag, its body pooling toward the bottom of its containment. The crystal being's structure started to show stress fractures, tiny cracks appearing along its surface. Stop this, Rixtan demanded. Its voice was no longer arrogant. It was frightened. Something is wrong with your ship. This pressure is not natural. It is very natural, Dae-Sung said, entering the cabin from the rear compartment. This is 0.6 g, a little more than half of Earth's surface gravity. This is what we experience every moment of our lives. What you feel is simply weight. This is more than half? The crystal alien's voice was barely a whisper. Impossible. Nothing can survive in such conditions. Humanity survives quite well, Hyunwoo said. There was no cruelty in his voice, but there was a certain satisfaction. This is what you called a death world. This is what you called primitive. This is what made humans into heavy worlders. So-Min checked the readings. They were at 0.7 g now, and the aliens were in visible distress. Thelvorn's breathing was labored, its chest heaving with effort. Rixtan's exoskeleton was making grinding sounds as it struggled to support weight it was never designed to carry. The jellyfish alien was barely moving, its tendrils hanging limp. You must abort, Thelvorn gasped. Medical emergency. We cannot breathe properly. Young-Ho was already moving, pulling out emergency oxygen supplies. But he checked with Hyunwoo first, a question in his eyes. Hyunwoo nodded. So-Min, level off. Hold at current altitude. So-Min adjusted the shuttle's trajectory, maintaining 0.7 g. Not even 3/4 of Earth normal. The aliens looked like they were being tortured. I do not understand, the liquid alien managed to say. Its translator was distorting, its speech becoming difficult. How do you function? How do you move, think, build? This weight, it is crushing me. You adapt, Hyunwoo said simply. Human bones are dense, almost like stone compared to yours. Our muscles are thick and powerful. Our hearts pump with incredible force. Our blood carries oxygen with remarkable efficiency. We evolved for this. You evolved for something much gentler. Rixtan was making calculations on a device, its hands trembling with effort. If this is 0.7, and your surface is 1.0, that is 40% more pressure, 40% more weight. It looked at Hyunwoo with what might have been fear. We will die. Not die, Daesung corrected. But you will be unable to move. Your bodies will be pinned down by your own mass. Breathing will be difficult. Standing impossible without mechanical assistance. This is why you never visited Earth. This is why you kept meetings in orbit. You knew? We suspected, Thelvorn admitted weakly. But we did not imagine it would be so severe. How can any intelligent species develop under such brutal conditions? Brutal to you, Jiwon said, emerging from the back. She had been listening to everything. Normal to us. We run in this gravity. We jump, we fight. We build massive cities and climb mountains and swim in deep oceans, all while carrying this weight every second of our lives. She moved through the cabin with easy grace, her movements fluid and strong. To the aliens pinned in their seats by 0.7 G, she must have looked superhuman. She picked up a metal toolkit that weighed 20 kilograms and lifted it with one hand. No strain visible. This is light to me, she said. Easy. But to you in Earth gravity, this would be too heavy to lift. Your own arm would be too heavy to lift. The crystal alien made a sound like breaking glass. One of its arms had fractured under the pressure. Young-ho immediately moved to help, but there was little he could do. The alien's biology was too foreign. We need to return to orbit, Young-ho said firmly. They cannot handle more. If we continue to the surface, there will be permanent damage. Hyunwoo looked at the aliens, seeing them truly for the first time, not as arrogant superiors but as fragile beings from gentle worlds. They had called humans primitive because humans were strong. They had offered humanity jobs as laborers because they could not imagine that strength came with intelligence. So-min, take us back up, Hyunwoo ordered. The engineer nodded and adjusted course. As the shuttle climbed and the gravity decreased, the aliens visibly relaxed. Color returned to Thelvorn's feathers. Rixtan's exoskeleton stopped grinding. The liquid alien's membrane expanded back to its normal shape. At 0.3 G, Thelvorn finally spoke. We owe you an apology. We called your world primitive. We called your people simple. We were wrong. Yes, Hyunwoo agreed. You were. This changes everything, Rixtan said, its voice subdued. If humans can operate in 1.0 G as easily as we move in 0.3, your strength must be incredible. Your endurance, your physical capabilities. We are just human, Hyunwoo said. We seem strong to you because we come from a strong world. You seem graceful to us because you come from gentle worlds. Neither is better. Both are simply different. But even as he said it, Hyunwoo knew the political reality would not be so simple. The Galactic Assembly had built its hierarchy on the assumption that all intelligent species were roughly equal physically. Earth had just shattered that assumption. Humanity was not equal. Humans were stronger, more resilient, more capable of enduring hardship. As the shuttle docked with the orbital station, the emergency session of the Galactic Assembly was the largest gathering in 50 years. Representatives from all 47 member species filled the Great Chamber, a massive sphere that rotated slowly to provide 0.3 G for comfort. At the center, floating in zero gravity, was a projection screen showing Earth. The blue planet looked peaceful, beautiful even. But now everyone knew the truth. It was a death world. Daesung Lee stood at the presentation platform feeling oddly comfortable in the low gravity. After weeks in space, he had adapted well. But he knew that none of these aliens could ever adapt to Earth the way he had adapted to their environment. Evolution did not work that way. Thank you for allowing me to present our findings, Daesung began. His voice was translated into 47 languages simultaneously. After the incident with our diplomatic shuttle, Earth scientists have conducted extensive analysis. What we discovered will change how the Assembly views humanity. He activated the first display. It showed a human skeleton beside a Velthian skeleton. The difference was shocking. Human bones were thick and dense, almost solid. Velthian bones were hollow, light, designed for a world where weight was barely a concern. Human bone density is approximately 4 times greater than the galactic average, Daesung explained. This is necessary to support our weight and high gravity. What you see as heavy and primitive, we see as normal structure. Murmurs filled the chamber. Daesung continued to the next image. Human muscle tissue is similarly dense. Our muscles contain more fibers, more blood vessels, more mitochondria for energy production. A human of average fitness can generate force equivalent to your strongest athletes. He showed a video of a human woman, Hye-Jin Song, one of Earth's bioengineers. In the video, she was in a normal Earth gym, doing what humans called a workout. She lifted a barbell loaded with weights, pressing it above her head repeatedly. The number displayed showed she was lifting 90 kilograms, nearly twice her own body weight. The chamber erupted in shocked sounds. Several aliens demanded the video be verified for authenticity. "This is not a champion," Dae-sung clarified. "This is an average human female maintaining basic fitness. The weight she lifts equals the body weight of most species here. She does this casually, repeatedly as exercise." More videos followed. Humans running for kilometers without stopping. Humans jumping vertical distances that would be Olympic records on most worlds. Human children playing games that involved strength and endurance beyond adult alien capabilities. "Your cardiovascular systems," another alien scientist called out. "They must be enormous to support such activity." "Actually, no," Dae-sung replied. "Human hearts are proportional to our body size, but they are incredibly efficient. We pump blood against 1.0 G constantly. Our blood pressure is naturally high by your standards. Our red blood cell count is greater. Everything about our circulatory system is optimized for high-gravity function." Hye-Jin appeared on screen again, this time speaking directly to the assembly. "Many species asked if humans have genetic modifications or mechanical enhancements," she said. "We do not. What you see is natural human biology. We evolved this way over millions of years. Earth made us strong because anything weak died." The bluntness of her statement caused uncomfortable shifting among the assembled aliens. Counselor Nephral, one of the few voices that had advocated for treating humans as equals, spoke up. "Its species resembled tall, thin plants with roots instead of feet and photosynthetic skin. This information is troubling," Nephral said carefully. "Not because humans are strong, but because of what it implies. If humans can endure conditions that kill us, if they possess physical capabilities so far beyond our own, how can we ensure peaceful coexistence?" "You cannot," a harsh voice interrupted. High Commander Rixtan pushed forward, its insectoid body still showing signs of damage from the Earth descent. "We have been fools. We invited predators into our assembly. Heavy worlders are dangerous. They always have been. We simply never encountered ones intelligent enough to threaten us before." "We are not predators," Hyun-woo said firmly, standing from the human delegation area. "We are people. Yes, we are strong by your standards, but we are also peaceful. Earth has not known major warfare in over a century. We resolved our conflicts through diplomacy and cooperation. After millions died in your wars," Rixtan countered. "We studied your history. Your species is violent, aggressive, territorial. Combined with your physical superiority, you represent an existential threat to galactic peace. The Krylox Empire has conquered 17 systems," Ji-won Park said, rising beside Hyun-woo. "You speak of violence while commanding the largest military fleet in the assembly. Do not project your nature onto us." The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species sided with Rixtan, demanding humanity be quarantined. Others agreed with Nephral, arguing for integration and cooperation. A few remained silent, clearly calculating how this new information affected their own political positions. Dae-sung waited for the noise to die down, then activated his final presentation. "There is one more thing you should know," he said. "Earth is not unique. Our astronomical surveys have identified at least 30 planets within known space that have similar or higher gravity. Most are unexplored because you lack the biology to survive there, but humans can." He displayed a star map with highlighted systems. "These worlds are rich in resources, heavy metals, rare elements, things that sink to the core of low-gravity planets but remain accessible on high-gravity worlds. They are also strategically located for trade routes and defense positions." The implications were clear. Humanity did not just bring strength to the assembly. They brought access to an entirely new category of worlds that had been written off as uninhabitable. "You need us," Hyun-woo said quietly, but his voice carried through the chamber. "As much as we need you. Yes, humans are strong, but that strength can build, protect, and explore places you cannot reach. We offer partnership, not conquest." "And if we refuse?" Rixtan demanded. "If we decide the risk is too great?" Ji-won smiled, and it was not a friendly expression. "Then you make enemies of a species that evolved to survive on a death world. Is that wise? The threat was subtle but unmistakable. Humanity had been underestimated once. That mistake had been corrected. Trying to suppress or eliminate humans would be making a different mistake, possibly a fatal one. Neferal spoke again, its voice carrying the weight of centuries of diplomacy. I propose a different path. Humanity has proven itself capable in ways we did not anticipate. Rather than fear this, we should embrace it. I move that Earth be granted full membership in the Galactic Assembly, with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Seconded, said another voice, then another. But many remained silent and some actively opposed. The vote would not happen today. Too much fear, too much uncertainty. But something had shifted. Humanity was no longer the primitive species begging for acceptance. They were a force to be reckoned with. As the session ended and delegates dispersed, Rixton approached the human delegation. Its body language was difficult to read, but its voice was carefully controlled. You have made your point, the Krylock's commander said. We underestimated you. That will not happen again. Good, Hyunwoo replied. Accurate assessment prevents conflict. Perhaps, Rixton said. Or perhaps it makes conflict inevitable. We shall see. The alien turned and left, its guards following. Ji-won watched them go with narrowed eyes. That sounded like a threat. It was. Hyunwoo agreed. Rixton is not the type to accept being proven wrong. The Krylocks built their empire on being the strongest military power. Now they know humans might be stronger, at least individually. That terrifies them. Should we be worried? Dae-sung asked. Hyunwoo looked at Earth on the display, his homeworld beautiful and deadly in equal measure. We should be prepared, he said. The galaxy knows what we are now. Some will want us as allies. Some will want us as servants. And some will want us eliminated before we become a threat. The easy part is over. Now comes the hard part. Hae-jin joined them, her expression thoughtful. I have been analyzing social media across the assembly networks. The reactions are split almost evenly. 1/3 want to embrace humanity. 1/3 want to isolate us. And 1/3 are calculating how to use us for their own purposes. Which third is most dangerous? Ji-won asked. The third that wants to use us, Hee-jin replied. Because they are the ones who will push until we push back. And when we push back with the strength of a death world species. She did not need to finish the sentence. They all understood. The revelation of human capabilities had not brought acceptance. It had brought calculation. Every species in the assembly was now reassessing their relationship with Earth, weighing the benefits and dangers of humanity's strength. In the following days, ambassadors approached the human delegation with various proposals. Trade agreements, defense pacts, scientific collaborations, cultural exchanges. Some were genuine offers of friendship. Others were thinly veiled attempts to control or monitor human activities. Hyunwoo handled each with careful diplomacy, neither accepting nor refusing outright. Earth needed time to decide its path forward, to understand its place in this new galactic order, where strength was measured not by technology but by the fundamental biology of survival. The warning came at 3 a.m. Earth time. Ji-won Park was already awake when the alert sounded, reviewing tactical reports in her quarters on the orbital defense station. She had been expecting this. Commander Park? The communications officer's voice was tight with stress. We have multiple contacts entering the solar system. 47 ships Krylock's configuration. They are broadcasting a message on all frequencies. Ji-won was moving before the officer finished speaking, pulling on her uniform jacket as she ran to the command center. Around her, Earth Defense Forces personnel scrambled to battle stations. This was not a drill. The command center was chaos when she arrived. Screens showed the approaching fleet, their formation tight and aggressive. These were not exploration vessels. These were warships. Play the message, Ji-won ordered. High Commander Rixton's face appeared on the main display. The insectoid alien looked even more intimidating on screen, its multiple eyes reflecting no emotion. People of Earth! Rixton's translated voice echoed through the command center. The Galactic Assembly has failed to act on the threat your species represents. Therefore, the Krylock's Empire will act instead. You will submit to our authority and accept protectorate status, or you will be removed from space by force. You have 6 hours to surrender. Do not test our resolve. The message ended. The command center fell silent. Get me Hyunwoo, Ji-won said quietly. And wake up the president. It seems diplomacy has failed. Within the hour, Earth's leadership gathered in the secure conference room. Hyunwoo looked tired but unsurprised. He had been negotiating desperately with assembly delegates trying to prevent exactly this situation. Clearly he had failed. Rixton is gambling, Yunwu explained to the assembled military commanders. The Krylox cannot defeat us on Earth, they know this. But in space, in zero gravity, they believe their superior numbers and experience will win. They think our strength means nothing without gravity to leverage it. Are they right? The president asked. Ji-won pulled up tactical displays. In some ways, yes. We have 23 combat-capable ships. They have 47. Our technology is roughly equal, acquired from assembly data files. In a straight fight, numbers matter. But, the president prompted, but they are thinking like beings from low-gravity worlds, Ji-won said with a cold smile. They cannot imagine what humans can endure. Our pilots train in high-G maneuvers that would kill Krylox crews. Our Marines can fight in conditions that would incapacitate theirs. And our ships are built by engineers who understand stress and force in ways they never had to. She highlighted one of Earth's cruisers. This ship can pull turns at 12 Gs, not safely by their standards. By ours. Our pilots black out at 9 Gs but regain consciousness. Alien pilots die at 6. That is the difference between a species that evolved fighting gravity and species that barely know what fighting gravity means. 6 hours, the president said, checking the chronometer. Can we win? Ji-won met their eyes. We can hurt them badly enough that they never threaten us again. But there will be losses. Space combat is different from anything humanity has experienced. We are about to learn a very hard lesson. Then we fight, the president said. Send the message. Earth does not surrender. The response was brief and simple. When Rixton received it, the Krylox fleet began their attack approach. Taeyang Cho strapped into his fighter cockpit, running through pre-flight checks with practiced efficiency. He was 26 years old, a pilot since he was 18, and he had trained his entire adult life for combat that no human had ever actually experienced. Space warfare, zero-gravity dogfighting. He was about to discover if his training was enough. All wings, this is control. Ji-won's voice came through his headset. Remember your training. They are faster in straight lines. But we can turn harder, use that. Make them chase you, then break their formations with maneuvers they cannot follow. Show them what Death World reflexes look like. Taeyang grinned inside his helmet. Understood, Control. Let us teach them some respect. His fighter launched along with 40 others. Earth's entire combat fighter fleet. They looked tiny compared to the Krylox cruisers, but Taeyang knew better. In space, size mattered less than speed and maneuverability. And human fighters were very maneuverable. The Krylox fleet advanced in standard formation. Their ships spread in a sphere that maximized firing angles. It was a formation designed to overwhelm with concentrated fire. It had won them 17 star systems. But they had never fought humans before. All fighters engage, Ji-won ordered. Taeyang opened his throttle and felt acceleration push him back into his seat. 3 Gs, light pressure, easy. He armed weapons and selected his first target, a Krylox destroyer on the fleet's edge. The destroyer fired at him, projectile weapons that moved fast but predictably. Taeyang jinked left, pulling 6 Gs in the turn. His vision narrowed at the edges, blood pooling away from his brain, but he held consciousness easily. He had trained in 9G centrifuges. This was nothing. The Krylox shots missed. Taeyang lined up and fired his own missiles, then immediately dove under the destroyer's firing arc, pulling 8 Gs in the maneuver. For a moment his vision went gray, but his hands never stopped working the controls. Training. Instinct. Biology. His missiles struck the destroyer's flank, and explosions blossomed in silence. The ship listed, atmosphere venting from breaches in its hull. First blood, Taeyang reported, already selecting his next target. Around him the battle dissolved into chaos. Human fighters swarmed through the Krylox formation like angry insects, pulling maneuvers that should have been impossible. The alien ships tried to track them, but their targeting computers could not keep up. Every time they locked on, the human fighters would jink or turn or flip in ways that exceeded their prediction models. In the command center, Ji-won watched the battle unfold with satisfaction. They are confused. They did not expect this level of agility. Hyunwoo stood beside her, watching humans and aliens kill each other in the cold dark of space. We are winning. The fighter engagement, yes. But here come their Marines. On screen, Krylox boarding craft launched toward Earth's orbital stations. Their plan was clear. If they could not destroy human ships quickly, they would board them and use superior numbers to overwhelm the crews. Minji, you are up, Ji-won said into the tactical channel. Minji Han waited in the docking corridor with her special forces team, 30 humans in powered armor. The armor was not energy shields or fancy technology. It was metal plates and hydraulics designed to multiply human strength even further. Minji tested her suit's servos, feeling the responsive power. In Earth gravity, the armor weighed 200 kilograms. In zero gravity, it made her unstoppable. The boarding craft latched onto the station with a metallic clang. Cutting torches began burning through the outer hull. Remember, Minji told her team, they have numbers. We have mass and momentum. Hit hard, hit fast. Do not let them establish positions. The hull breach opened and Krylok's Marines poured through. They wore lighter armor, optimized for zero-gravity maneuvering. They carried advanced weapons. They outnumbered the human team 3-1. None of it mattered. Minji launched herself at the first group, her armored mass hitting like a wrecking ball. Krylok's bodies crumpled under impacts that would have barely moved a human. She grabbed one alien Marine and used it as a shield, pushing forward into their formation and scattering them like pins. Her team followed, each one a juggernaut in armor. They were not graceful. They did not need to be. They were human, and humans knew how to fight using weight and power. Even in zero gravity, momentum and mass were absolute. The Krylok's Marines tried to reform, to use their superior numbers and training. But training meant little when your enemy could shrug off hits that should have incapacitated them. When they could crush your weapon with their bare hands. When every collision ended with broken alien bodies and barely scratched human armor. The boarding action lasted 7 minutes. When it ended, 30 humans stood victorious over 90 Krylok's Marines. Minji's suit was dented and scarred, but she was grinning inside her helmet. Station secured, she reported, requesting permission to board their cruiser and return the favor. Denied, Ji-won replied, but there was amusement in her voice. Save some for the next wave. In space, the battle was turning. Tae-yang had downed 3 ships himself. His fighter was damaged, fuel running low, but he was still flying. Around him, other human pilots reported similar successes. The Krylok's fleet was breaking apart, their neat formations shattered by an enemy that moved like nothing they had ever encountered. On the flagship of the Krylok's fleet, High Commander Rixtan stared at tactical displays in growing horror. This was not how space combat worked. Ships could not turn like that. Pilots could not sustain those accelerations. Marines could not fight so effectively in zero gravity. Everything the Krylok's knew about warfare was being proven wrong. How many ships have we lost? Rixtan demanded. 14 destroyed, 9 disabled, the tactical officer reported. Its voice was shaking. The humans have lost 4 fighters. Their larger ships have not even engaged yet. Rixtan's multiple hands clenched. The Empire had never suffered such losses. Not in a single battle. Not against an enemy they outnumbered 2-1. 6 months after the battle, Hyunwoo Kim stood in the newly constructed Earth Embassy on the Galactic Assembly Station. The room was designed for both human and alien comfort, with adjustable gravity zones and atmospheric controls. It was a symbol of compromise, of 2 different worlds learning to coexist. The vote had come swiftly after the Krylok's defeat. 43 species in favor, 3 against, 1 abstention. Earth was now a full member of the Galactic Assembly, with all the rights and responsibilities that came with it. The species that had once dismissed humanity as primitive heavy worlders now competed for trade agreements and defense pacts with the Death World survivors. Ambassador Kim, Counselor Neferal's voice interrupted his thoughts. The plant-like alien entered through the low-gravity entrance, its roots extending to anchor itself. Thank you for meeting with me. Of course, Hyunwoo gestured to the sitting area. What can I do for you? Neferal settled into a specialized chair. I wanted to discuss the colony proposals. 7 species have now requested human assistance in settling high-gravity worlds. The resources from these planets could revolutionize our economies. Hyunwoo pulled up data files on his tablet. Ji-won has reviewed the security implications. She is concerned we are becoming a mercenary species, hired muscle for anyone who wants to exploit dangerous environments. Is that not what the Assembly feared? Neferal asked. That humans would become a military threat? There is a difference between being strong and being weapons, Hyunwoo replied. We want to be partners, not tools. Then partner with us in ways that benefit everyone, Neferal suggested. Take the Verdun system, for example. It has a 1.2 G planet rich in rare elements. No current assembly species can work there safely, but humans could establish a colony, mine the resources, and share the profits. Everyone benefits, Hyunwoo considered this. Earth needed resources for its growing space infrastructure. These high-gravity worlds offered exactly what humanity required, while giving the assembly access to materials they could not reach themselves. It was logical, mutually beneficial.
And yet, we need guarantees, Hyunwoo said.
Rights for human colonists, fair trade terms, assurance that we are not simply being exploited for our biology. Agreed, Neferal said immediately. I am drafting a charter for high-gravity world development. It will ensure human colonists have full sovereignty, while maintaining fair resource sharing with sponsoring species. Would Earth be interested in reviewing it? Before Hyunwoo could respond, his communication device chimed. Daesung's face appeared on the small screen. Sorry to interrupt, the scientist said, but I have news. The gravity compensation project is ready for testing. Hyunwoo stood. Neferal, would you like to witness something extraordinary? They traveled to Earth's orbital research station, where Daesung had been working for months. The laboratory was filled with equipment and monitors, but at the center was a simple room with transparent walls. Inside, a Velthian volunteer waited nervously. What is this? Neferal asked. A solution, Daesung replied. He activated controls and the room began to glow softly. We cannot change the gravity of entire planets, but we can create localized fields that reduce effective gravity in small areas. This room is currently maintaining 0.3 G inside even though we are in 0.8 G external environment. Impossible, Neferal breathed. Difficult, Daesung corrected, but not impossible. With this technology, aliens can visit Earth safely. We can build facilities on high-gravity worlds that accommodate both human and alien workers. We can finally share the same physical spaces. The Velthian volunteer in the room began moving around, testing the environment. Its feathers were relaxed, movements graceful. It was comfortable. This changes everything, Neferal said. Again, Hyunwoo smiled. Humanity keeps doing that, it seems. Elsewhere on the station, Suayun was teaching a class of young aliens about Earth culture. The students were all from different species, their bodies ranging from crystalline to gaseous, but they shared one thing in common: fascination with humanity. Why do humans build so heavily? A small insectoid student asked. Your buildings are thick, your vehicles massive. Is it necessary? On Earth, yes, Sua explained. She showed images of human cities, towering skyscrapers and bridges spanning vast distances. Everything must support itself against high gravity. A building that stands on your world might collapse on Earth under its own weight. We learned to build strong because we had no choice. And your art? Another student asked. Why is it so intense? Sua pulled up examples of human music, painting, literature. When you live on a death world, you learn to value life intensely. Every moment feels precious because we evolved knowing how easily it could end. That intensity flows into everything we create. The class continued with Sua patiently answering questions about human customs, biology, and philosophy. It was one of dozens of cultural exchange programs now running across the assembly. Humans teaching aliens about death worlds. Aliens teaching humans about the wider galaxy. Understanding was spreading, slowly replacing fear. At the Galactic Military Academy, Ji-won Park stood before a mixed class of human and alien cadets. She had been invited to teach a course on high-stress combat tactics, and the students watched her with respect bordering on awe. The key to human combat effectiveness is not strength alone, she explained. It is the ability to function under pressure. When your body weighs 3 times normal, when breathing is hard and moving is harder, you learn to prioritize, to think clearly despite discomfort. She activated a simulation. This is a scenario from the Krylox battle. Watch how the human pilot responds compared to the Krylox pilot. The class watched as 2 ships engaged. The human fighter pulled a violent turn. 8 Gs of force emerged behind its opponent and fired. The Krylox ship tried to respond but moved sluggishly, the pilot clearly struggling with the acceleration. The Krylox pilot was at their physical limit, Ji-won explained. Their body was shutting down. The human pilot was uncomfortable but fully functional. That is the difference between a species that evolved in gentle conditions and one that evolved in harsh ones. An alien cadet raised a tentacle. Does this mean humans will always win in combat? No, Ji-won said firmly. It means we have advantages in certain situations, but you have advantages in others. You can survive in environments that would kill us. You can process information faster. You can communicate in ways we cannot. Combat is not just about strength. It is about using your strengths intelligently. She looked at the mixed-class human and alien students sitting together. The future of galactic defense will not be human-only forces. It will be integrated teams, each species contributing their unique capabilities. That is what I am here to teach you. How to fight together. In a small apartment on the Earth Embassy Station, young Kyobin Jiang packed his belongings. Tomorrow he would leave for the Galactic Academy, the first human accepted into their advanced science program. At 17, he was one of the youngest students ever admitted. His mother called from Earth, her face appearing on his screen with that mix of pride and worry that parents specialized in. "Are you ready?" she asked. "I think so," Kyobin replied. "Nervous but ready. Remember, you represent all of humanity," his mother said. "But do not let that pressure overwhelm you. Just be yourself. Learn. Grow. Show them what human curiosity and determination look like." After the call ended, Kyobin looked out at the stars. 6 months ago, most aliens had thought humans were primitive and simple. Now he was going to study alongside the galaxy's best minds, proving that Death World survivors could excel at more than just physical challenges. He wondered what other assumptions about humanity would be challenged in the coming years. Back in the embassy, Hyunwoo received a surprising visitor. High Commander Rixton entered through the airlock, moving carefully in the Earth Standard 0.8G environment. The Krylock's commander looked diminished, its exoskeleton bearing scars from the battle. "Ambassador," Rixton said formally, "I come to apologize. Hyunwoo had not expected this." "Please sit." Rixton lowered itself into a reinforced chair. "I was wrong about your species. Worse, I allowed fear to drive me to violence. The Krylock's empire lost much in that battle, ships, soldiers, reputation, but we gained something more valuable. Understanding. Understanding? For centuries, the Krylocks dominated through military strength," Rixton explained. "We believed power came from numbers and technology. You showed us that power also comes from adaptation, from resilience, from the ability to endure what others cannot. These are lessons our species needed to learn." Rixton reached into a carrying pouch and withdrew a data crystal. "This contains proposals for joint military training programs. The Krylocks would like to learn from human tactics, human endurance techniques. In exchange, we offer our strategic experience and fleet coordination knowledge." Hyunwoo took the crystal carefully. "You want us to train Krylock soldiers?" "I want our species to learn from each other," Rixton corrected. "The galaxy faces threats beyond our current understanding. There are regions of space no species has explored, dangers we cannot predict. If humans and Krylocks can work together, combining our different strengths, we become something greater than either species alone."